Well, we've got a group of people that are trying to combat litter. The Keep Louisiana Beautiful group in our office, the Lieutenant Governor's office, the Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism, and Volunteer Louisiana, which is housed in our office, have had a great program today with leaders across the state and a Leaders Against Litter program. We've been actually out picking up litter this morning all across the state, and we're going to announce that and talk about the numbers that were picked up and the participants we had, and try and encourage all Louisianians to recognize that the sportsman's paradise is despoiled when we have litter everywhere. And unfortunately, we've got too much of it on our highways and byways and waterways, and we all need to pick up and clean up Louisiana.
Litter creates just an insidious problem. It's a deterrent for economic development. It contributes to the crime in a neighborhood, and it has a huge effect on our quality of life in this state and our public image. I'm Jackie McGinnis, chairperson of the board of Keep Louisiana Beautiful. And on behalf of all the board of directors and our executive director, Lee Harris, we want to thank our great partners who made this memorable day possible. Those partners are Volunteer Louisiana and the Office of the Lieutenant Governor. Additionally, we have to thank our awesome affiliates around the state that signed on to this concept so eagerly and did all the necessary preparations and planning that we ask of them, and then today executed those plans beautifully. Also, I want to thank the numerous state agencies who partner with us year-round in an effort to keep Louisiana beautiful through litter prevention, recycling, and beautification. Those agencies, and I think most of them are represented here today, are the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, the Department of Corrections, the Department of Transportation and Development, the Louisiana State Police, and of course, the Lieutenant Governor's office. So now let me tell you briefly about this event, Leaders Against Litter, and how it came to be. We have long known that many community leaders are involved in our efforts, and we know how important their involvement is. Whenever folks who are in leadership capacities in a community become involved, it elevates the discussion, it brings a new level of awareness to hear the message from your mayor or your legislator or the president of your Chamber of Commerce. Better yet, it makes a real difference to see them doing something about the problem. So with that in mind, we wanted to create an event that would highlight the importance of using their influence and high profiles to call attention to the insidious problem of litter in Louisiana, a problem that we know full well has detrimental effects on our economic development, on our crime rate, and on our public image. And yet it persists in this state. So today, 16 of our 43 affiliates, from Shreveport to Monroe, from Natchitoches to New Orleans, from Lake Charles to Baton Rouge, all donned gold t-shirts and grabbed gold litter grabbers and cleaned up a portion of their community. They did this with community leaders, business leaders, elected officials, and volunteers. What a great example of what it takes to keep Louisiana beautiful. Personal, corporate, and community responsibility. Personal, corporate, and community responsibility for where you live, work, and play. We thank Volunteer Louisiana and Lieutenant Governor Jay Dardenne for making this possible. And now I would like to call on the Executive Director of Volunteer Louisiana, Mr. Judd Johnson.
Thank you, Jackie. My name is Judd Johnson, Executive Director of Volunteer Louisiana. Volunteer Louisiana was established in the Office of Lieutenant Governor to build and sustain high-quality programs that meet the needs of Louisiana citizens and promote an ethic of service. Volunteer Louisiana funds and manages all AmeriCorps national service programs in the state, which help meet critical needs in education, economic opportunity, disaster response, and much more. Volunteer Louisiana also supports volunteer outreach, coordination, and recognition throughout the state. Louisianians each year volunteer over 129 million hours of their time to service, with an estimated economic value of $2.8 billion to our state. This is why Keep Louisiana Beautiful is such a natural partner for our agency. The Leaders Against Litter initiative meets a critical state need while engaging citizens across the state in service for a common purpose. 16 projects are taking place throughout, or have taken place throughout Louisiana today, and we're pleased to have been able to offer grants in support of those efforts. And, alongside Lieutenant Governor Darden, we were able to actually provide boots on the ground today for the Baton Rouge cleanup effort. So, on behalf of our Volunteer Louisiana staff and commissioners, I want to thank the Lieutenant Governor for his leadership on this initiative and his support of volunteerism throughout the state. And we look forward to a continuing partnership with Keep Louisiana Beautiful for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Judd. Keep Louisiana Beautiful thrives on grassroots support and community involvement. But from the local to the state level, it is leadership that keeps litter control before the public eye and on the public agenda. In Louisiana, our cause has no greater champion than Lieutenant Governor Jay Darden. He has picked his passions. Oh, may I say that? Okay. And one of his passions is to keep Louisiana clean and welcoming for tourism, for economic development, and for the quality of our lives. He is ever ready to do whatever we have asked of him. That is, if he hasn't thought of it before us. So, ladies and gentlemen, here to point the way is our Lieutenant Governor, one of my heroes, Jay Darden.
Well, thank you, Jackie, and let me thank you and Lee Harris for your leadership in this great effort. Let me show you how this works. Up. Now, this is how it works. The wind blows papers, and I go pick them up. You see how easy that is? And this is most of the litter we deal with in Louisiana, I do really believe is inadvertent. We don't mean to do it. People aren't always constantly throwing things out their window, but a beautiful day like today with the breeze blowing, styrofoam cups fly out of the back of pickup trucks, inadvertent paper winds up where we don't want it to be. People outside like this let papers fly free and they don't bother to go pick up after themselves. So what today is about is encouraging people to pick up after themselves and to be cognizant of the problems that litter can cause to a beautiful state like Louisiana and impugn our claim that we are in fact the sportsman's paradise. So Leaders Against Litter is designed to, today certainly in a project like this, was designed to have people who have been elected to positions of leadership or appointed to positions of leadership to be on the front line and actually be out there picking up trash. I have my yellow shirt on, which I will rip open a la Superman and show you. It was very cool this morning, and we picked up trash for more than an hour in downtown Baton Rouge. And it was very nice and cool and didn't work up too much of a sweat. If we'd been picking it up right now, I probably wouldn't leave the T-shirt on. But it was nice this morning, and we had a great effort from folks from our office and folks from throughout Baton Rouge picking up trash on North Boulevard under the interstate. Chief Carl Dabadie, the Chief of Police of Baton Rouge, announced yesterday great efforts to literally clean up the streets by arresting a number of people for their criminal activity. This morning he was out there with us cleaning up the streets, picking up trash, and we appreciate what the Chief did as well as the other volunteers who are out here today. I want to recognize some of the folks who are with us who have been involved in this initiative as sponsors and who are literally out picking up trash today, and several of them are with us this afternoon. Colonel, in no particular order, Colonel Jeff Main, Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, and raise your hand because all these guys are behind me, I think. Sherry LaBaye, who you heard from with the Department of Transportation and Development, who recognizes more than anybody the need to keep our highways and byways clean. Captain William Davis with the State Police. The folks in Wildlife and Fisheries, State Police, Department of Transportation and Development, they control our waterways, they control our highways and byways, and they're out on the road or in the water all the time seeing what some of us just don't pay attention to, and that's the great amount of litter that despoils Louisiana, and they've been a big part of our effort today to make this happen. I mentioned Chief Dabadie. I think he's back to fighting crime and not picking up trash this afternoon, but we appreciate what he did. Chandler Moore and Daniel Pascal from New Orleans. These guys, I need to tell you about these guys because they do a tremendous job as young professionals in New Orleans. They founded the NOLA Trash Mob. They engage and lead volunteer mobsters via social media, meeting every Sunday to clean up a section of New Orleans. They just celebrated their first anniversary. You can follow them on Facebook at NOLA Trash Mob, and we really appreciate your efforts and thank you for being with us today. Leaders across the state were out there, but not all of them made it to Baton Rouge, but I want to recognize some that did. Dennis Scott, the president of the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury. Dennis, thank you, and thanks for what you've done in Lake Charles area. Buddy Lloyd, a councilman from Slidell, and Buddy is also a member of the Keep Slidell Beautiful group. Delmas Dunn and Samuel Paul from the African American Museum in Hammond. You guys ought to be up here with us. Thank you for what you've done. Raymond Dupleshin from Opelousas. Raymond, thank you. Thomas Gresham from Wildlife and Fisheries. Is Thomas back there? Yep. And Betty Fuller, all the way from Natchitoches. Where's Betty? Betty, you come up here. You can be up here with us, all the way from Natchitoches, picking up to make the Cane River clean. And Arlene Gould as well from Natchitoches. Thank you for being here. And Darrell Campbell from the Department of Corrections. Also with us, and they're sitting over, I see Steve Carter over there, Representative Steve Carter. Deals with a lot of trash inside the building, I know that. Where's Senator Elbert Gilreath? Senator Gilreath. Now see, Steve, he had the sense to stand back here. Senator Gilreath, thank you for what you do in the Opelousas area. We appreciate your being here. And Renee Fauché, where's Renee? Renee is with Waste Management, was out with us this morning helping clean up in the Baton Rouge area. And Waste Management obviously deals in trash all the time, but they're also very cognizant of the need to make sure that the trash goes into the containers so they can dispose of it properly and not wind up on the streets and roadways and waterways of Louisiana. So thank you for being here as well. Let me give you the results of today. We had across this state, school superintendents, police chiefs, parish presidents, mayors, judges, council members, district attorneys, JPs and constables, chamber executives, university administrators, and business leaders, all rolling up their sleeves and picking up trash today, taking time out of their schedule to make sure that was done. We had 442 volunteers across the state, which amounted to 628 volunteer hours, picking up 388 bags of trash. This number is wrong, 9,313 cigarette butts. I can tell you why that's wrong, because I didn't count the cigarette butts as I was picking them up, but I guess I should have. I didn't get that memo, but we'll call it over 1,000 cigarette butts were picked up, and hundreds of signed pledges like this, pledging their support for a litter-free Louisiana, speaking up, picking up, and standing up to lead the way to keep Louisiana clean. And we appreciate the efforts of people all over the state. But it's not just Leaders Against Litter, and it's not just people who hold public office or have the public trust that need to get engaged. It's all of us. We all need to be picking up after ourselves, being cognizant of litter, encouraging young people to recognize that they too have a responsibility to not litter, not throw things out the window, not let pieces of paper stay in front of their houses, their places of business. Great work can be done a little step at a time. All it takes is a little bit of effort for people to be aware of the problem and to say, I'm going to do something about it. It's a very simple thing, and we can keep Louisiana clean. We celebrated our bicentennial a couple of years ago in 2012, 200 years of statehood. We've always been a proud state. We fancy ourselves properly so as the sportsman's paradise. We pick many passions in this state for food and for music and for recreational activity and outdoor life and festivals. And one of our passions also needs to be a commitment to keep Louisiana clean. And those of you here today have made that commitment. We appreciate everything all of you have done. I hope you'll carry forth this message to people back home and make sure that we act responsibly and keep Louisiana clean. It costs us $40 million a year for local governments to have to worry about cleaning up and picking up trash, according to a Keep Louisiana Beautiful study. Just think of the money that could be saved if we can engage people to do what ought to be done anyway. We have an interest in that as government officials wanting to spend money responsibly and wanting to make sure that dollars are spent where they should be, and we ought not be having to spend as much as we spend to pick up after ourselves, if all of us would just do that on their own. So I want to call upon the people of Louisiana to join Leaders Against Litter and make sure that as these agencies and individuals and leaders in the community have done, that they recognize a commitment to help keep Louisiana beautiful. And I thank Jackie for her leadership, Lee and all the professionals in Keep their communities beautiful across the state and in Keep Louisiana Beautiful for their efforts, but they need our help. And I hope that today, with leaders across Louisiana doing something, it'll be a call to action for all Louisianians to make certain that we do our part to keep Louisiana beautiful. I want to thank all of you for being with us today, and Jackie, thank you again for your leadership and your help. I will sign the pledge. Yep.
Everybody sign the pledge that would like.
And everybody is welcome to sign this pledge as well. And this will be an ongoing effort by leaders across the state to call attention to the problems of litter. I talk about it all the time. I'm encouraging other leaders in the state to do so as well, to make people more cognizant of the fact that they got to be careful when there's styrofoam cups and paper in the back of their pickup trucks. It's going to blow out when you go 60 or 70 miles an hour on the interstate. And when you just toss cigarette butts or other waste out of the window, somebody's either got to pick it up or it's going to stay there forever.
Tell us a little bit about your experience picking up litter today.
Well, we had a good group from our office. We had several of us from the office, and we were under the interstate on North Boulevard by First Methodist Church here in Baton Rouge between Convention Street and Government Street, and we picked up a number of bags of litter. There's a lot of stuff under there, and it's unfortunate just to see it accumulate.
We wanted to highlight the importance of leadership, folks in leadership positions getting involved in this effort.
We spend quite a bit of money at DOTD through our Transportation Trust Fund to pick up litter, and if we didn't have to do that, then we could use that money and put it into our roads instead of picking up litter that other people leave behind.
We'd prefer that we have education instead of having to write those tickets. We would rather the individuals put trash where it belongs, in that receptacle, so we don't have to see it and we don't have to take that enforcement action.
How can the average person get involved in this?
Well, they can pick up after themselves. They can not litter themselves. They can be careful about what's in the back of the beds of their pickup truck. They can encourage young people to recognize that paper and styrofoam and waste materials from fast food restaurants belong in a trash can and not on the street.
If people have questions like more information, what should they do?
They should go to our website, keeplouisianabeautiful.org, and they'll find all our contact information there.